Jonathan Kenny, Professor of Chemistry, will introduce Chelsea Hogan.
Thank you, Nancy, and thank you, President Monaco, for sponsoring this event. Chelsea Hogan is a student who's worked with me for the last couple of years. I've been her advisor in both environmental studies and in chemistry. She's one of the few students who actually do that double major, and it's a pretty difficult one, and she's been impressive in carrying it out. I think that she exemplifies the Tisch College spirit of weaving together her academic interests and her active citizenship into a seamless garment. There are many highlights in her CV that I brought to the attention of the awards committee. I'll just talk about a few of them. First off, her environmental studies interests required her to do an internship. She worked at Groundworks Lawrence to do a tree survey in order to improve urban life in the city of Lawrence. In chemistry, besides her difficult course load and her research, she was involved in the outreach program, the Chemistry Organized Outreach Program, or co-op, that has been successfully bringing chemistry to our schools in our home populations of Medford, Somerville, and Chinatown, and in Malden for that matter. And it's very important for younger students to see Chelsea as a woman role model in science. In sort of the intersection between her environmental studies and her chemistry, we might identify the area of green chemistry, a new movement within chemistry that says, let's do away with business as usual and let's start from scratch to build a better world through chemistry. And she's been involved in a separate outreach program focusing on green chemistry through a nonprofit organization called Beyond Benign, which is located in Wilmington, Massachusetts. And in that capacity, she has gone to middle school children and taught them, not only talk to them about green chemistry, but actually have them build solar collectors that are made of less toxic materials than the currently available commercial ones. So she's quite an accomplished person in environmental studies, chemistry, and the intersection. Let me tell you, though, about how Chelsea spent her summer vacation last year. She came to me thinking that she ought to do a research project and asked if I had anything available. Well, there is one thing, Chelsea, but you'll have to talk to my collaborator about it if you're interested. You see, we're doing a study on shrimp in our laboratory, and we need someone to go collect some samples. So Chelsea went to my, I felt that when she got done hearing the parameters of the project, she would come back and say no thanks, because it was a far cry from a cushy job in an air-conditioned laboratory on the Medford campus. So she went and talked to my collaborator, Akasha Warren, who was a former professor at the vet school, and got all the details. Yes, she would be going to Ecuador and going to from hamlet to hamlet across the country of Ecuador, stopping and collecting offshore shrimp sample in each location. Yes, some of these sampling locations were adjacent to drug plantations. Yes, there would be bodyguards. No, there wasn't enough money in the Summer Scholars Program, and she'd have to pay some of the travel fees herself. So I was astounded when she came back to me and said, yes, I'm doing it. And so off she went to Ecuador. Well, on her return, there was a bit of drama at the airport, because you see, with Summer Scholars Awards, you get $1,000 for laboratory equipment and supplies to carry you through the summer and beyond as necessary. It would have taken our entire $1,000 allotment for the shrimp to have to be FedExed on dry ice back to Medford. So Chelsea had the job of getting the shrimp through the airport in her luggage. Now, we all know airport security isn't that big a deal these days. But the entire laboratory was sitting there on the day of her return with their fingers crossed. Would there be a budget left or not? Chelsea came through. Well, she brought the shrimp back. She's been analyzing them ever since. The project is going along quite nicely, although with some bumps and ripples, as all research projects do. But I would like to just read to you a little bit about, that Chelsea wrote about her summer experience because it says a lot about the connection between chemistry and society at large, and it says an awful lot about Chelsea. This is actually a quote from a section of my nomination. As an undergraduate researcher under my direction, Chelsea won a Summer Scholars Award, which involved going to Ecuador to collect shrimp for our laboratory study. There, she again came into direct contact with a group marginalized by environmental injustice, specifically poor residents suffering obesity and deformities from eating heavily polluted seafood. In an essay written after this experience, Chelsea wrote, "It is the most horrific thing I've ever seen, as there was clearly a connection between contaminated seafood that the pregnant mothers were eating and the health of their children. This contamination is suspected to be the result of pollution from nearby oil refineries. I have never felt more helpless than in witnessing these people who didn't have the means to fight against such an industry and who didn't have the knowledge to have avoided this. It is a type of environmental injustice that inspires me to enter the environmental field." Now, as the informal director of the Tufts Climate Change, Climate Justice Initiative, I soon found out that there is no such thing as solving our environmental problems without first taking on the issues of environmental justice. And there's no such thing as sustainability without justice. Justice and sustainability go together. I'm delighted that Chelsea shares that passion with me, and I think she's a highly deserving awardee today, and I congratulate her.